Yes.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Can you pull up the actual agenda? I think the first thing is public comment. Is that correct? Oh, no, roll call. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do roll call. Okay, Andrea Wheeler.
Here.
David Burkhardt.
Here.
Jeff Micko, not present. Ralph Matoria, not present. Linda Marquez.
Here. Okay, this portion of the meeting is reserved for persons desiring to address the committee on any matter not on the agenda. Does any member of the public wish to speak?
Can I speak?
Sure.
Do you want to, if you don't mind?
Well, now that the whole committee is here, I just want to communicate what I communicated to Andrea earlier, which is what a wonderful job I thought you did on the report this year and how much I thought the addition of hours in the analysis was very beneficial. And so I, as a member of the public, I thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you, Chair Emeritus. Anyone else? Is the next, yes, approval of the minutes from last April. Did everyone read the minutes? Does anyone have any questions, comments, or amendments for the minutes? Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
Andrea Wheeler.
Yes.
David Burkhardt.
Yes.
Linda Marquez.
Yes. Can I speak before we get to this portion? I'm sorry, I should have. I just want to remind the new members of the committee that our next meeting is, part of what we'll be doing is reviewing the annual report. And it is a long report, so set aside time to read it and then come with absolutely any questions that you have, even if it's just for your own benefit. This is a good time for you to learn more about the authority. And then keep in mind that our role is to make sure that report is transparent, how the money is being spent is transparent to the public. So if anything is not clear and transparent to you, please bring those questions as well. Thank you. That's all.
So maybe I could kick this off for us. The sole item here in new business is just to introduce you to two staff members who will be coming along with us to do to take you on a tour of two locations today. We have, and suddenly I go blank, Lucas Sheldhammer, our planning manager, is going to talk to you just a little bit about Mayan Yakima, Coyote Ridge before we go out, and then Jackie Latham, our grants coordinator. We'll give you just a little bit of a preview for the Morgan Hill Community Garden Project, which received a grant from our urban grant program. You'll hear more when we're actually out on the properties, but I think we're going to lay just a little bit of context for you before we load up in vehicles.
Hi, good morning. I'm Jackie Latham. I use she, her pronouns. So we will see the Morgan Hill Community Center, which was grant number 17, which was awarded about $250,000 back in 2016. And they had some extensions, some permitting delays, but their project closed last year, which is why it fell into this last fiscal year. And this project was, we funded their ability to relocate this existing community garden and then really expand it. I've seen it once before. It's really great. There's about 100 raised garden beds, and I'll walk you through the details of that project, but it's something that we were really excited about funding and to see it finally come to completion.
Jackie Shaw, planning manager for the authority, also the project manager on the Miami on the Cuddy Ridge Open Space Preserve project, which opened. We had our opening celebration, community celebration last month, and opened a couple months before that, officially to the public. So began planning the project in 2018, and with the intent, the property was actually purchased with the intent of having a staging area because it's easily accessible off 101 in Bailey. There's about 1,800 acres that has a conservation easement held by our habitat conservation plan, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and CDFW. It's extremely sensitive habitat, the crown jewel of Bay Area conservation. And so bringing people and connecting people to that landscape being easily accessible from San Jose, Morgan Hill, it's really an important place to educate and tell the story of the important plants and animals that live there and the protection of the serpentine habitat. So we'll talk more about that. Spent a lot of time thinking about how we educate to the public. It's a very different kind of reserve. There's something for everybody there, including accessible trails. We'll get into some of the details of that as kind of our first preserve, and in 10 years we wanted to do an outstanding job making it more accessible to more of our public constituents. The project total cost is about 4.5 million. We were very, I would say our grant staff did a really good job lining us up for an amazing amount of grant funding to help pay for that. We had $400,000 from Gordon Betty Moore, 400 from MTC PCA grant, Metropolitan Transit, or
I don't remember what the C is, but
Priority Conservation.
Yeah,
Grant, yeah. And Gordon Betty Moore Foundation, private organization, and then over $2 million from California State Parks through the per capita grant funding program, which was Proposition 68. So all in all, about 3 million of that 4.5 million came from outside funding, which is an impressive percentage. I'll leave it there unless there's any other questions. And yes.
So how competitive are the grants? Is it a matter of who can wow them the most?
you're speaking of the grants that funded Miami Aqua?
Yes.
It really depends on the grant. In some cases, like the per capita state park funding, that was more of if there was an eligible project which fell into, the criteria for eligibility was pretty specific. But once we knew that we were eligible, there was almost like money set aside that we were available to get. In many other cases, it's much more competitive. We might be hoping to get 1 or 2 million out of maybe a $30 million pot, but there might be asks for $130 million for some of these huge grants. For some of the private ones, like the Gordon and Betty Moore, it really depends on what their priorities are for their funding year or their next few funding years. In this case with Gordon and Betty Moore, it was before my time, so I can't speak to that, but I know that that's a lot of relationship building and really understanding the project and if it fits into their priorities at the time.
So it's more than just I'm gonna send in an application. You have to kind of meet with the folks and understand.
Yeah, that's a great question. For a lot of these big funders, state funders, and so forth, relationship building is a huge part of getting that opportunity. A lot of it is them understanding our project and our mission, and us crafting our ask in a way that fits into their mission. A lot of, the great thing about the Open Space Authority is we do align in so many different ways. We do so many different things, but we sometimes have to figure out through relationship building, how do we show that lens of our work? Sometimes it's recreation focused where we can really focus on bringing people out. Sometimes it's like a burrowing owl focus where we're really looking at a specific species and not as much recreation. So that's a big part of our job is finding the fit. We don't want to change a project entirely around what the opportunity is, but finding, is this a good fit from both ends?
On the giving side, I learned that Lake Cunningham in San Jose received a grant from Open Space And I just learned that by attending a meeting by councilman. So, I thought that was cool to see, one of the board members is part of, the community foundation. So, first of all, thank you. And so, it's good that you have the board members who are out there and connected to these causes. I appreciate that. I'm redistricting that.
Questions? No more questions. Oh, any members of the public would like to speak on this topic?
We can, adjourn the meeting to the site tour.
Okay, adjourn the meeting to the site tour.
Did you notice that?